Good morning. We're in this period before Easter, the Lent period. We're in a time that the Gospel devotes a decent chunk of time to Jesus' journey towards Jerusalem, his final journey towards Jerusalem, where he's going to ultimately be betrayed and arrested and crucified. And interestingly, Jesus in this final journey knew exactly what was going to happen. Jesus had this divine foresight. He knew the divine schedule that he was on. We don't have a clue what's going to happen to us in days or weeks to come. But Jesus knew what was going to happen. And he knew the brutality of it, the kind of danger of what he was going into. Yet still, Jesus carried on. And we read this in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus' attitude and kind of approach to what was about to happen. In Luke 9:51 it says, "Now it came to pass, when the time had come for him to be received up, that he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem." Jesus knew his time had come to be received up, to go to the Father again. He knew what was going to happen before that. He alludes to it many times on the journey to his disciples, giving them clues as to what's going to happen. And because of that, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. Another version says he gathered the courage and steeled himself. It was a real kind of determination to approach this final journey of his life, knowing what was to come. And he did that ultimately for the cross. He did that for us. And he did it for his Father. He wanted to obey the Father. And it wasn't easy. Right into that last evening of his life, he was praying to the Father, "If this cup can pass from me, let it do so. But not my will, but yours be done." And Jesus' approach to obeying the Father, his approach to life, was very much one of obedience. It was one of, "Not my will, but yours be done." And I think in this morning, we often try our best, put all our effort into avoiding the difficulties that lie in our path, or that may lay in our path. We teach our kids from a young age, and rightly so, to avoid danger, to avoid dodgy paths home, or take the safe journey, take the safe route. Avoid this, avoid that conflict. Avoid the people who might cause you trouble in life. And that's all good and well. But maybe it teaches a bit to avoid the things that God might want us to not to avoid. It might teach us to take the easy path sometimes. And we know that being a follower of Jesus, obeying the Father's will, isn't always the easy path. And there's something so, everything from Jesus' life is amazing and exemplary. But as we consider that verse this morning, that he steadfastly set his face to Jerusalem, steadfastly set his face to the place that was going to cause him a lot of physical pain, separation from the Father for a time. There's an example there for us. I couldn't help but think of Moses too. In Hebrews 11 verse 25 it says that Moses chose rather to suffer with the people of God, because he wanted to obey God, and he wanted to receive something that was far greater than temporary pleasures. And there's an example in both those people, in Jesus and Moses, and we could go through many others in the Bible who kind of forsook the pleasures of the world, the temporary comforts of the world, to follow God, to follow Jesus. I hope that's encouraging. Jesus is the perfect example in all of these things. And as we read and go up to this Easter time, we're going to see how time and time again he obeys the Father. He has the Father and a greater joy at the front of his mind as he approaches this tremendously difficult time. I hope you can keep that at the forefront of your mind today.